Hello, everyone. My name is Candace Cordelia, coming to you from outside of the Pro Wrestling Illustrated headquarters. But I am so happy to be here remote with you, talking with the one and only, well, the only as well, Maxxine Dupri of WWE.
Hello.
Hi, how are you, Maxine?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. It is snowing outside. Did not see that
Oh,
coming, but yeah, reminded of winter. We're still in it, and I can't wait
yeah,
to be part of it. So
like permanently warm in Florida. So I am just, in little tropical heaven.
I am jealous because I seriously cannot wait for that 1 ounce of 80-degree weather. I'm not even waiting for summer.
No.
I just want it to be 80 because it's been bad this winter. It has been, but you've been excellent from what I can see.
Thank you. Yes, it's been a fun winter. It's been a busy winter. Things have been good. But yeah, I'm happy to dive in and chit chat.
Yes, I am as well. And, this is for Matt Stage and Screen. Our readership at PWI is very familiar with the column that I write. And I wanted to write this column because I am starting to see all of you professional wrestlers really getting your toes and your fingers and all of the things wet into the outside of the ring perspective. So fashion, television, film, all of it, music, it's really exciting. And I am here to talk to you about Jaunty, your clothing boutique, your clothing range. It is fabulous. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it looks delicious, and I say that because as I was scrolling through on Instagram, the clothing just looks so well worn. It looks so, I think the word is
Thank
buttery,
you.
buttery soft.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
colors are really yummy. So let's talk about Jaunty. And my first question for you, Maxine, is how did you come to found your own clothing boutique? Where did the idea come from?
Yeah, so I actually started Jaunty in 2019. So I've been doing it long before I was Maxine. Both of my parents were entrepreneurs. So I grew up kind of knowing that I wanted my own business, own brand of some sorts. And I think when I was younger, I was a competitive dancer. So I thought like maybe I'd have a dance studio or maybe I would have a dancewear line. And then as just my life evolved and as I got older, I was living in Los Angeles. I was cheering for the Rams. And when I lived in LA, I had so many jobs. Like I worked at Soul Cycle, I worked at Orange Theory, I worked at a bunch of dance studios. I was all over the place. And I really wanted something that felt like mine. And I just was raised with this idea of like, if you have your own brand, then that's how you can really make money all the time and obviously it takes so much work to get to a point to where your company is monetizing while you're not working. But I just always had that kind of ingrained in me. And I always knew that I wanted my own brand, but I never knew what I wanted it to be. And Jaunty just kind of like came at a time when I really needed it. I was grieving the loss of my brother and just going through a lot of things. And I just like needed something to ground me. And it was really, really fun. And it was something I got to kind of do with my parents leading me and guiding me because they had that experience. So it was so special. And the brand has evolved so much with me over time. Like it is not what it was when it started. When I started in 2019, I wanted to design my own clothing line. Like I wanted to do it from scratch. I wanted it all manufactured in Los Angeles so I could go in and feel everything and design everything. And that was really fun, but I did not realize how hard it was. And I did not realize that like I'm designing something that's not going to be ready for a year. So I did that at first. Then I got my resale license and started operating as a boutique so that I could sell other brands. Then I moved to Arizona. So then I opened a storefront. And about, I'm going to say 4 months after I opened the storefront, I signed to WWE and moved to Florida.
Wow.
And then it evolved with me even more because when I was in Arizona, my lifestyle was so different. So I was selling clothes that matched my lifestyle. And then I, dove into wrestling and I was living in activewear and it just felt right and organic to kind of flow into that style.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's fantastic. And you're so lucky that you have your parents there to
Yeah.
help you to navigate because being an entrepreneur it's hard. It's
Oh my
really
gosh. Even just to like legally start a business and get the business name and like do the taxes for it, it's crazy. Like it's so difficult. So I'm so grateful that I had my parents during that time to give me guidance.
yeah, absolutely. So how do you navigate WWE life and having your own boutique and line? I mean, because you're in one place or you're in a bunch of different places throughout the year, but you have
Yeah.
storefront. So who's helping you with the storefront while you're traveling?
So I had the storefront when I first signed, and in my head, I had no idea when I signed what it was going to look like. So I was like, I'm sure I can fly back and check on it sometimes. No, no, no. So when I first moved, one of my best friends in Arizona was helping me run it, and I had employees. And then I got to a place where I just felt like the brand was no longer representing me because I couldn't dive into it. I was so busy. So I actually closed the storefront and I still had the actual location up until January of this year. So this last year it was more like our headquarters, and I just felt like the experience of having a customer come in was so important to me, and not being there to really make sure it was what I wanted made it feel kind of out of touch. So that's when I was like, you know what? It's not worth it. So I actually closed the storefront. I'm back to all online, which is just so much more manageable. It's a bummer because I loved the storefront, but at the same time, like my passion is being Maxine, being in WWE, wrestling. It's no longer what it was before. And I just am kind of allowing the brand to almost take a backseat and just flow with me as I take on this new adventure.
That's really impressive. And you said 2019, and I'm thinking that's the year before the pandemic started. So how did you even navigate that, having this?
Honestly, it was totally fine for me. I leaned into loungewear. Like when I tell you this brand has evolved with me, like I rebrand nonstop. I am not ashamed of the rebrand. Anytime I feel like, if I'm selling dresses and no one's going to dinner, then why am I selling dresses? So I just evolved with everything that happened in the world and in my life. I really leaned into loungewear, and that was actually a really successful year for me. And it just worked out. I don't know. I just got really lucky with that.
Yeah, the stars were aligned and the universe was just like, this is the right time, and it all
Yeah.
happened. That's really cool. The name Jaunty, where did that come from? Because I'm still trying to figure out what was the impetus towards naming your line.
Yeah. So actually my mom is extremely creative. Like anytime I need anything, like she is my chat GBT. Like if I am like, what's a cute catchphrase? What's this? Like my mom will have 15 on the top of her head. Like I don't know how she does it. She's very, very creative. So I knew I wanted something that started with a J because the middle names in my family all start with a J. And my mom sent me like a bunch of different options, and Jaunty was one of them. And I'll actually read you the meaning of it because when I had it, I was like, oh, this is it. So jaunty is having or expressing a lively, cheerful, and self-confident manner. And I just felt like that was exactly what I wanted my brand to embody, even as it evolved through each step that always aligned.
It's perfect. And it sounds like you didn't have an idea what that name even or the word meant, but you just latched on to see everything just aligned.
Yeah.
That's
When my mom sent it to me, I like looked it up and I was like, okay, yes, like love,
yeah.
perfect. It just like felt right. I can't explain it. I wanted something that felt like luxe, but
Mhm.
also attainable and like within reach, not something that felt like so like out of this world, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I'm from Philadelphia, and we have a we have a term here called John. And anyone watching this, they're probably laughing because John is like a funny saying, meaning like you'll say that John, or it's such a Philly thing. So when I hear
Oh, but
John,
I love that.
Jaunty, I was like, I wonder how that's spelled, because if it's spelled like John, Jawn, I was gonna start cracking.
We're JAUNTY.
You're like, where the other one? But that's
I
really
love that.
love it. Exactly. So, in terms of the creations that you have, I was looking at the website, checking out all the
Yeah.
wares that you have. They're so pretty. I'm like, in my head,
Thank you.
I was kind of thinking, okay, I want this, I want that. I'm gonna
Oh, thank you.
because they look awesome. And I know, as someone myself that loves activewear and loungewear, it's really hard finding really nice quality activewear that won't fray
Yeah.
for, one or two washes, that will last, in the gym as well as outside the gym going to brunch with the girlies. So what goes into the creation for you of making sure that you have sustainable clothing that is, and I'm not sure in the term of sustainable if they are sustainable, but sustainable meaning that you can wear them over and over and over again and they won't crunch under pressure.
So every item that we release, I get first and wear and wash and dry and do all the things and really like see how it wears, see how it's comfortable, see if it's like the right lengths that I want. Chelsea's actually a great person where like she'll be honest if I give her something like she'll be like, okay, yes, this is the softest thing I've ever like make this in every color. And then there's things where I'll be like, I don't know if you're gonna like this. And it's nice to have like other people's input when when picking items that I'm gonna release. And I think too, it's just it's hard because it's knowing what I'm looking for. And I know that sometimes that's very niche. And like there's certain items where like for me, okay, it's not for like a heavy lifting day, but like if I want to run errands and be an activewear, then this is the outfit I'm gonna wear. And I know that like it's great to have things that can do everything, but I also like knowing which items I'm gonna wear for each thing and I can market it that way and sell it that way. And I really love leaning into loungewear because obviously being on a plane every week, it's so fun to design like really cute and cool images to go on the back of a hoodie that like mean something to me. And I just like love leaning into that.
That's cool. I like that. And in terms of wearing your own line, have you had anyone come up and say, "Hey, I love what you're wearing. Where did you get that?" And
Yes.
as the brand ambassador of your own brand, right?
Yeah, actually like that happened to me with our GTG set. I was wearing it in black before we released it at F45 and I was in a random city for Raw. I was in like I don't know where I was, like Missouri or something. And I had like three people in the class be like, "Oh my gosh, your set is so cute. Where's that from?" And I was like, "It's not launched yet, but here's the website." Stay tuned.
That's such great branding. That is perfect marketing because you can
Yeah.
wear what you make. And I think
Yeah.
it's really important as a designer to love the clothes that you're making and to make
Yeah.
sure that if you love it, you can actually wear it. Others will love it and wear it too. So that's
Exactly. Yeah.
fantastic. And you mentioned we love Chelsea Green in this house. Like she's
Yes.
amazing. In terms of
Same.
other girls, have they also given you feedback at WWE or do you all kind of sit and just have brand sessions?
Honestly, all the girls are so supportive. Like Tiffany, Naya, Natty, like, and they're all just like so sweet and just purchase. They don't even say anything. They just purchase from my website. And it's so kind because you know I would give them everything. And it's so kind of them to fully support, you know, my little brand and something that I work on. And I think they know like how hard I work on it and like I do the website and like the shoots and just everything. And it's nice to have such supportive friends around me.
That's amazing. I love it. And I also have to add a little tangent because you were at New York Fashion Week several years ago. I
Yeah.
don't know if you were really, or if you were there recently, but I thought that was amazing because I love the fact that you and others in WWE have the freedom to do things like that, to go to New York Fashion
Yeah.
Network,
It's
see what it's like.
actually
Yeah.
it's crazy because so I Jaunty was in New York Fashion Week in 2021 and it right it must have been like right as I got signed before I moved. I think that was the timing and it was amazing. And that was such a stars aligning thing. Actually so when I was 18, I did not go to college and my mom was like, you have to do something. You got to do a course or something to have on your resume to show you can complete something. So I did an event planning course and it was owned by this woman who I did not know this at the time, but she was my stepmom was her personal trainer. So it was just like random thing that we connected. And then she actually launched another program where they were training models to walk runway. So she called me and was like, "Hey, you've done my course before. I know you have a brand. Like, do you want to be the brand that the girls walk in Fashion Week?" And it just like all aligned and it was amazing. It was so fun. And then this last year, not this year, the year prior, I got to walk in Fashion Week for Giovanni, which was so fun.
Yes, that is insane. It seems like everything just as luck would have it, you do the hard work and then the luck comes and then the
Yeah.
opportunity
Yeah.
manifests itself. It seems to be a theme for you, which I
Yeah.
love.
I've been very blessed in that realm.
Yeah. Have you gotten any business advice from your bosses, say Triple H, Nick Khan? Have they given you any feedback?
Honestly, if I get an opportunity to talk to them, the last thing I'm talking about is John D. That is so far on the back burner for me. Like, yeah, my top priority when I'm at work is work. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that I get to have Jaunty and it's something that I get to have as a side hobby. But my number one priority is my in-ring work and my character work. So it's honestly not something that I ever bring up at work unless someone brings it up to me because
That's
I just it's you know, they're busy. It's a rare opportunity to get 10 minutes of their time and
mm,
there's 100 other things that I want to pick their brain on. So for
that's
me, it
right.
just takes the back burner.
Yeah, you're focused in all realms and they're focused as well. So it's good to
Yeah.
know that you can compartmentalize and do your
Yes.
work and then come
Yeah.
home and then say, hey, what are we doing with Jaunty and all that good stuff. At the moment, do you have like a core group of employees that you all consult with each other in terms of the branding on Instagram, the marketing, what lines go out at what times and all of that?
Yeah, I have actually a great social media marketing
Mm.
girl who I work with. I wouldn't call her an employee because she has her own company and we work together. And she's amazing. And over the years, like when I had the boutique, I had a team of 5 girls and it was so fun. And it was such a good learning experience for me. And like I said, I've had so many jobs, like working at a golf course, just like doing different things. So it was always fun to kind of apply the things that I loved to them. Um, so yeah, I would say right now I'm more of a one-man show and I'll hire like a photographer when I want to do a shoot or hire someone to do social media marketing. But for the base of it, I'm just out here coasting.
It's working. It's working. I love that
Thank
you're just
you.
very chill about your line, about the work that you do. And I think that is important because, as stated previously, being an entrepreneur is really hard work. But it's good to know that you're taking certain things in stride and you're having fun with the process instead of
And
just
you
like,
know,
wow, yeah.
it's funny because I've just always loved fashion. So like as much as I invest in a Jaunty, like I spend even more time being like, okay, what gear can I wear? What outfit can I wear in Raw? So it's been one of those funny things where it is something that's so important to me. And I'm so grateful to have had it through so many different phases of life. And I'm grateful that I get to extend that and continue doing that. But it's also something that like kind of unleashed this creativeness in me that I get to apply to Maxxine and to other areas of my life, which is so fun.
Absolutely. And speaking of just being able to infuse that into Maxine and doing things that you just do fabulously within the WWE already, in terms of ring gear and design and things of that nature, because I'm such a huge fan of that world. What is that like for you? Do you have any input in that in terms of what you?
Yeah. Absolutely. We get pretty much like full range and it's been really, really fun. Just coming up with different singlets and how to make the singlets like more sexy and more Maxine, but still match the boys and go out there. And it's been really, really fun working with Otis and Tazawa because they do have like such fun input and like people don't give Otis enough credit. Like he sends me things where he'll send me a photo of like Elvis and like a certain thing and be like, how do we make this into gear? And I'm like, say less, let me figure this out. Like he does have such a creative mind and it's been so cool to kind of see that flourish and then also kind of combine it with my more like feminine, sparkly side.
Love that. Oh, the things that we don't know about that man. Like it's just I feel
Yes,
like I learn something new every time he's mentioned.
it's so
That's
fun.
cool.
Yeah, it's been awesome. And you know, there's so many talented people on Instagram that do gear sketches that tag me, and I always use them. Like I will send them to my gear maker and maybe say like change one or two things, but the things that these talented humans come up with just blow my mind.
Wow. Do you mind like naming a few of them?
Yes, let
We got
me pull up
props,
their Instagrams.
yeah, because
We'll give them a shout out.
we need a shout out because I think it's important to let folks know in
Okay, one of my faves. One of my faves.
oh yeah. Oh wow. Star
Yes,
Designs. Good to
make such amazing stuff. There's another one. Hang on. I
follow.
literally have an album, so I'm very type A. So when I save things on Instagram, I have different collections, and I have one that's all gear sketches.
Love
And
that.
that way, when I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? I can go to my gear sketch section. Um, oh my gosh, I have so many. Okay, here's another one who's so talented.
The ellipsis M designs. Wow, gorgeous. Oh my God.
Gorge. Okay, then we have Zay the designer. I've used lots of these as well.
Oh, we love. I'm blown away. I'm so impressed.
And this is actually where the gear that's in 2K, this was
Oh,
designed by Zay the designer, which is like so cool. So you know, you get to like have that come to fruition and like show it off. Um,
yes.
let
Follow
me
them,
make sure I'm
everyone.
just not like missing any that I use often
That
because
is great.
so many good ones.
And
Yeah,
I
I'm
love that you help
so
them out with.
impressed always. Even okay, this one. Okay, no, I did show you that one. Okay, yes. I'm like, I gotta make sure I don't leave anyone out. I'm sorry if I did.
It's all good. Follow all of those gear makers, gear designers. That is, I, I'm so inspired seeing talented people. And I think it's important to give talented people their props because when you're
Yes,
working in a bubble and you're working in a tunnel, sometimes you're so focused, you just go to the next project, go to the next thing, and you're thinking,
100%.
and it's good to just sit back and just, pump yourself up and pump other people up and let them know that you appreciate them.
Yeah. There's another designer, Usama Ishte, who does a lot of the girls' gear. He does Naya's gear. I know he's done some for Tiffany. He's done a gear set for me. And I was looking for my second dress for my wedding for the reception, and I couldn't find anything I loved. And so we're actually going to create like a custom dress for my second look, which I'm so excited about because I that wasn't like on my radar of plans. And then I was like, why am I trying to force something that's like not exactly what I want when we could just design it and come up with something amazing together? So it's really cool to get to work with all of these people because they're just so talented.
Oh, we can't wait to see that. Oh my gosh, Maxine,
I
that's
know,
gonna,
I'm excited.
I know it's gonna be gorgeous. I know.
Thank you.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. So, and speaking of, or thinking rather of inspirations, right? We're talking about talented people in the lane of gear design and gear making and wrestling. But when it comes to business and looking at who inspires you in business, besides your parents, are there any entrepreneurs or thought leaders that come to mind?
So I follow a lot of women on TikTok who have their own businesses, but also post so much insight. Like they'll post like their template into doing PR gifting, their template into doing events for their brand. And I have honestly found on TikTok, like that is my Google when it comes to business. I love going on there and just like dissecting it and seeing different things that brands do and never copy and pasting, but taking inspiration. It's really cool. And I think what's cool about having your own business is that it's whatever you want it to be. So like if in a year I don't feel like what I'm putting out aligns with me anymore, then we evolve, and that's what we do. And it's okay because it's yours. And I think the fear of failure stops so many of us from like launching something or we hang on to something because we don't want to look like we failed with it. Like even with the storefront, I struggled with that a little bit. I struggled with like, am I failing by closing this? And it's like, no, it's not serving me. I'm failing myself by trying to force something that's taking money from me and not profiting at this moment. Like why not take that money and put it back into something else? So I think it's just being okay with honestly the idea of failure, but also being okay just evolving and finding inspiration from different people as you do that.
That's very profound. And I think it's important to know and to tell others that because, especially in this society, so many people are so prone to thinking that way, to thinking, okay,
Yeah.
I need to constantly be on the ball and stay doing the things that I've always done. And it's okay, I feel as well, to step out of that and to just know there's always chapters. There's always, growth is good. It's good to grow
Yeah.
and to just
Yeah.
know to close the page on something and just
And
move.
also just to know that none of us know what we're doing. Like we are all just rolling with the punches. We're all on YouTube trying to figure it out. Like we're all doing that together. And I think also not being afraid to ask for help and not being afraid to reach out and be like, hey, what is your tip on this? Because you'll
Mhm.
be surprised by how many people will give you free information.
Very true. Very true. That's the second time I've heard that. Not everyone, no one knows what they're doing. The second time this
Oh,
year, and I'm like,
yes.
yeah, I get the message.
Yeah, like we're all just figuring it out. And like, how special is that we all get to figure it out together?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's a great time. It really is. There's
Yeah.
stuff happening in the world, but I think now it's either now or never. And if you are
Yes.
ready to embark on, having your own clothing line or doing whatever it is you want to do, why not do it? So
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, love your spirit. Love your spirit, Maxine.
Thank you.
A few other questions I want to
Yeah.
ask is one, because I know you're inspired by the Bella twins and
Yes.
Total Divas. And when I started getting into wrestling, those two, as well as Total Divas, that's how I really started, watching
Yeah.
Total Divas and really understanding the new generation of women wrestlers
Yes.
and beyond. When it comes to the Bella Twins' entrepreneurial pursuits and what they've
Oh
done
my gosh.
in all
Yeah.
different realms, you know, what are your thoughts on that? Because they've embarked on a lot of different things post WWE, or I can't even say post WWE because
Just in general.
just in
Yeah.
general, exactly.
They have inspired me so much. Like, and not even just in this phase of life. Like, I'm talking 2019, 2020. Like, I was listening to their podcast. I was following their brands, the way they've launched into the wine business, the way hosting, everything they do, everything they touch turns to gold. And I think that it's such a token to their work ethic, their vulnerability, their authenticity. Everything they do is successful because they do it wholeheartedly and they let us see them. And that's why I'm so drawn to them. Like they're two people that like you listen to their podcast and you feel like you're in the room with them, sitting at the table with them, and you feel connected to them. And that's such a special talent that like not everyone has. And I've always been inspired by everything they do. And I love like I actually was telling Nikki at the Rumble that like my screensaver used to be, it was a photo of her modeling Birdie B. And I was like, her abs were shredded. And it was like literally my lock screen because she's always been my inspiration. But not just the body, but also modeling your own brand. I just have always just thought that they were the most strong, beautiful, talented women. And now like meeting them and being around them, I'm like, yes. I actually haven't gotten to meet Brie yet, but it's on the to-do list. But I'm like, yes, it's confirmed. Everything I believed is true.
Exactly. That's the power of manifestation. I'm telling you, that's
Yeah.
exactly the mindset and the attitude, and it's working for you. It's still working. So that's really cool. What are your next plans for Jaunty in terms of just other iterations of it, perhaps? Like if you find yourself going outside of active wear and lounge wear and doing like lingerie or couture, like are those things that you've thought of?
You know, it's funny because I'm have a creative mind, like I will wake up one day and be like, Jaunty needs a perfume. Like we need a perfume. That's what we need to do. Like my brain is always going 100 different ways. And then the next week I'll be like, wait, is that a good idea? I'm not sure. So to be totally honest, I'm a really big goal setter. So I always set goals for the business, just with like followers, profit, like all that kind of stuff. I always write out different goals for each year. But I think for where the brand actually evolves, I think my success in that realm has come from letting it happen authentically and letting it flow as my life flows and let it grow with me. So it's not something that I have like pinpointed, but it's something that I'm always thinking about. And honestly, if I wasn't getting married so soon, because we're doing this year, I would have done like a whole bridal line because there's things that like I'm like, oh, I wish I had like this. And I'm like, oh, I should just make it. So there is things like that that I'm like, oh, do I want to do that? But then I'm like, do I really need to add another thing to my plate this year? I'm not sure.
Well, that would be really, really nice because I've noticed, especially in bridal wear, how far it's come. Like there are some gorgeous, just gorgeous designs and dresses and so modern because I think a lot of people in past years have thought of bridal wear as being a little stuffy or not, you know, not as
Yeah.
modern as other types of clothing. But I'm telling you, I've seen some amazing designs for
And
bridal.
like there's some brands, like Alt Swim is one where they make amazing bikinis and they embroider your new last name on them and like so many cool things for bachelorette parties and just, you know, honeymoons. And I am so inspired by all of that. So I don't know what's next for Jaunty, but I'm excited to see where my life goes and what that means for Jaunty.
We're excited for you and excited to
Thank
see it.
you.
You know, hopefully we can see you again walking down the runway for New York Fashion.
I know, I would love that.
That would be amazing. But thank you so much, Maxine. It's been a pleasure talking
Thank
with
you for taking
you.
the time.
Of course, and thank you for this opportunity and good luck with everything. And we can't wait to see
Thank you.
next for you in Alpha Academy and
Thank
WWE.
you
You're
so
welcome.
much. I really appreciate it. This was so much fun.
Thank you. And thank you all for watching the PWI verse. We appreciate you. We love you. And stay tuned for more exclusive interviews with Matt Stage and Screen. And until then, we'll see you next time.
Thanks.